Let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to bed feeling completely normal, only to wake up the next morning feeling exhausted, dizzy, or strangely weak? Many people believe serious health problems happen suddenly, but the truth is far more disturbing. Most health problems are quietly created by small habits we repeat every single night. Habits that feel harmless. Habits that seem normal. Habits that millions of people do after 8 p.m. without even thinking about it. And that's exactly what almost happened to me. I'm 79 years old now, but a few years ago, I had a night that I will never forget. It was around 10:30 p.m. I had just finished eating a heavy late dinner, scrolling through my phone, telling myself, just 5 more minutes. But those 5 minutes became 1 hour, then 2. I finally went to sleep past midnight. And that night, something terrifying happened. My heart started racing. My chest felt tight. My breathing became shallow. For a moment, I genuinely believed I might not wake up again. That night forced me to face a painful truth. It wasn't age alone damaging my health. It was the small nighttime habits I repeated for years. Habits that silently weaken the heart, confuse the brain, destroy sleep, and slowly drain the body's energy. The scary part? Most people keep doing these things every night without realizing the damage. So today, I want to share something extremely important. 8 dangerous things you should stop doing after 8 p.m. These habits might look harmless, but over time, they can quietly affect your sleep, your health, and even your lifespan. And if you remove them from your nights, you may protect your body in ways you never imagined. But before we begin, if you care about your health, your future, and living a longer, stronger life, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because the information you learn today might save you from mistakes that millions of people are unknowingly making every single night. Now, let's begin. 1. Eating heavy meals late at night. One of the most dangerous habits people develop after 8 p.m. is eating a heavy meal late at night. It feels harmless. In fact, for many people, it has become part of their daily routine. The day is busy. Work finishes late. Family responsibilities take over. And before you realize it, dinner is pushed later and later. So around 9:30 or 10 p.m., the table finally fills with food, and you eat the largest meal of the day right before going to bed. But what many people don't realize is that the human body was never designed to process large amounts of food when it is preparing to sleep. During the night, your body is supposed to enter repair mode. Your brain slows down, your heart rate stabilizes, and your organs begin the quiet work of healing cells, balancing hormones, and restoring energy for the next day. But when you eat a heavy meal late at night, that entire system is disrupted. Instead of resting, your digestive system suddenly has to work overtime. Your stomach starts producing more acid. Your intestines begin processing fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Your heart pumps harder to support digestion. The body that should be recovering is suddenly forced into another round of hard work. I remember a night many years ago when I ignored this completely. I had eaten a large, oily dinner late in the evening. At the time, it felt comforting. But when I finally went to bed, something strange happened. My chest felt heavy. My stomach burned. My sleep became restless, and I kept waking up again and again through the night. The next morning, I felt more exhausted than before I went to bed. That's when I realized something important. A heavy late meal doesn't just affect your stomach, it affects your entire body. Over time, this habit can quietly create serious problems. Acid reflux becomes more common. Weight slowly increases because the body cannot burn those late calories efficiently. Sleep becomes shallow and fragmented. And when sleep suffers, everything suffers: your energy, your mood, even your heart health. What makes this habit so dangerous is that the damage happens slowly, night after night, year after year. Many people don't notice it until their body finally begins to complain. At 79 years old, I've learned a lesson that I wish I had understood much earlier in life. Your body performs some of its most powerful healing while you sleep, but it can only do that when it is allowed to rest. If your stomach is still struggling to digest a heavy meal at midnight, your body cannot fully repair itself. So one simple change can make a powerful difference. Eat lighter in the evening. and give your body time to finish digestion before you go to bed. Sometimes the smallest habits we repeat every night quietly shape the health of the years ahead. 2. Staring at screens for hours. Phones, tablets, television. For millions of people, the hours after 8 p.m. have quietly become screen time. Dinner ends, the lights dim, and almost automatically the hand reaches for the phone. Just a few minutes, we tell ourselves. Maybe to check messages, maybe to watch a video, maybe to scroll through social media. But those few minutes slowly turn into 30, then an hour, sometimes 2. Before you realize it, midnight arrives, and your brain still feels strangely awake. The dangerous part is that this habit feels completely normal. Almost everyone does it. Yet what most people don't realize is that the glowing screen in front of your face is sending a powerful signal to your brain. A signal that says, it's still daytime. Phones, tablets, and televisions emit something called blue light. And this light directly interferes with one of the most important processes in your body, the release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep. Normally, when darkness falls, the brain slowly begins producing melatonin. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your body temperature drops slightly. Your nervous system begins preparing for deep rest. But when your eyes are flooded with bright screen light at night, your brain becomes confused. It delays melatonin. It keeps the mind alert. And suddenly, the body that should be preparing for sleep stays stuck in a strange in-between state, tired, yet unable to fully shut down. I remember watching my own grandchildren one evening. They were lying in bed with their phones glowing in the dark. They insisted they were tired, yet they kept scrolling, video after video. An hour passed, then another. Their bodies were begging for rest, but their brains were trapped in that endless stream of light and stimulation. And this is where the real damage begins. Because when sleep becomes shallow and interrupted night after night, the brain never reaches its deepest stages of recovery. Those stages are where memory is strengthened, emotions are balanced, and the brain clears away harmful toxins that build up during the day. Without that deep rest, something subtle begins to change. You wake up feeling tired even after 8 hours in bed. Your concentration weakens. Your patience becomes thinner. Over months and years, memory problems, fatigue, mood swings, and even faster aging can slowly appear. The brain is incredibly powerful, but it is also incredibly sensitive to light and darkness. For thousands of years, the human brain followed a simple rhythm: sunlight during the day, darkness at night. But now, glowing screens have created a kind of artificial daytime that continues long after the sun disappears, and the brain never truly gets the message that it's time to rest. At my age, I've learned something that younger people often ignore. Nighttime should be gentle, quiet. Jing, your brain needs darkness the same way your lungs need air. Without it, sleep becomes weaker, and over time, the body quietly begins to suffer. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your health after 8 p.m. is also the simplest. Put the phone down, turn off the screen, and allow the night to become dark again. 3. Drinking too much tea or coffee. For many people, an evening cup of tea or coffee feels like a small comfort. After dinner, the body feels relaxed. The day is almost over, and a warm cup in your hands seems harmless. In many homes, it is even a tradition. People sit together, sip tea slowly, talk about the day, or watch television. And because tea feels light compared to coffee, many people assume it cannot possibly affect their sleep. But what most people don't realize is that caffeine is far more powerful than it seems. Inside every cup of tea or coffee is a stimulant that directly affects your brain and nervous system. And once it enters the body, it doesn't disappear quickly. In fact, caffeine can remain active in your system for 6 to 8 hours, sometimes even longer as we grow older. Think about what that means for a moment. If you drink a cup of tea at 8 p.m., part of that caffeine could still be circulating through your bloodstream at midnight, quietly stimulating your brain when it should be shutting down for rest. This creates a strange situation inside the body. Your muscles begin to feel tired. Your eyes may grow heavy. You may even lie down in bed hoping to sleep. But inside your brain, something else is happening. your nervous system is still slightly activated. Your mind stays alert. Your brain waves remain more active than they should be. And the result is something many people experience but rarely understand: restless sleep. You toss and turn. You wake up several times during the night. Sometimes you check the clock and realize hours have passed without deep sleep. Then morning arrives, and instead of feeling refreshed, you wake up with a heavy head and a strange exhaustion that follows you through the entire day. I remember meeting a friend in his 70s who constantly complained about poor sleep. He told me he would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling for hours. He believed it was simply part of aging. But when we talked about his evening routine, something interesting appeared. Every night around 8:30 p.m., he drank 2 large cups of strong tea while watching television. To him, it was normal. He had done it for decades. But that simple habit was quietly stimulating his brain long after he went to bed. As we grow older, our bodies become more sensitive to caffeine, not less. The same amount that once had little effect in our 40s can begin disturbing our sleep deeply in our 60s and 70s. What once felt like a harmless routine can slowly disrupt the entire sleep cycle. And when sleep becomes weaker, everything else begins to weaken too: energy levels, memory, mood, even heart health. The dangerous part is that people rarely connect the two. They blame stress. They blame age. They blame random insomnia. But sometimes the cause is sitting quietly in a cup on the table every evening. At 79 years old, I've learned that protecting your sleep requires paying attention to even the smallest habits. Because sometimes the difference between a peaceful night and a restless one is simply the decision to put down that evening cup of caffeine and allow the body to finally relax the way it was meant to. 4. Thinking too much about problems. For many people, nighttime should be the most peaceful part of the day. The house becomes quiet. The noise of the outside world fades away. The lights dim, and the body finally has a chance to rest. But for millions of people, something very different happens. The moment the head touches the pillow, the mind suddenly wakes up. Thoughts begin to appear one after another. Financial worries, family conflicts, mistakes from the past, uncertain plans for the future. A conversation you had earlier in the day starts replaying in your mind. You think about something you should have said differently. Then another worry appears, maybe about money, health, children, or responsibilities waiting for you tomorrow. Before you realize it, your brain has opened the door to an endless cycle of thinking. And the more you try to stop it, the stronger those thoughts become. What many people don't understand is that the brain cannot easily distinguish between imagined stress and real danger. When you replay worries or fears late at night, your brain reacts as if the problem is happening right now. Your body enters a stress response. Stress hormones like cortisol begin to rise. Your heart starts beating a little faster. Your breathing becomes slightly shallow. Your muscles stay tense instead of relaxing. Instead of preparing for sleep, your body shifts into a quiet state of alertness and defense. It's as if your nervous system believes it must stay awake to solve a threat. I remember nights earlier in my life when financial pressure weighed heavily on my mind. I would lie in bed staring into the darkness, calculating numbers in my head again and again. I told myself I was thinking about solutions. But the truth was that I was only exhausting myself. Morning would arrive, and instead of clarity, I felt drained and emotionally fragile. That's the hidden cost of nighttime overthinking. Night after night, this habit quietly steals the deep rest your brain desperately needs. Without proper sleep, your emotional strength begins to weaken. Small problems start to feel bigger. Your patience becomes thinner. Your mind feels heavier. And ironically, the problems you were trying so hard to solve often become harder to handle the next day because your brain is already exhausted. The mind was never meant to carry the weight of the entire world at midnight. Nighttime should be a time of surrender, not mental battle. At 79 years old, I have learned something that took me decades to understand. Some problems are meant to be solved during the day, when your mind is clear and your energy is strong. But the night is meant for healing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do before sleep is not solving the problem, but gently telling yourself, this can wait until tomorrow. Because when you allow your mind to rest, something remarkable happens. your body relaxes. Your breathing slows. Your brain finally enters the deep, restorative sleep it has been craving. And very often, when morning comes, the problems that felt overwhelming in the darkness of night suddenly feel much smaller in the light of day. 5. Staying physically inactive all evening. After dinner, many people fall into a routine that feels comfortable but quietly harms the body. The meal ends, the dishes are cleared away, and then the evening turns into hours of sitting. The television turns on, the phone comes out, and the body barely moves again until bedtime. At first, it feels relaxing. After a long day of work or responsibilities, sitting down seems like the reward the body deserves. But what most people don't realize is that remaining completely inactive after dinner can slowly disrupt some of the most important processes inside the body. When you eat a meal, your digestive system immediately begins working to break down the food. Blood flow increases around the stomach and intestines. Enzymes are released, and the body starts converting nutrients into energy. But digestion works best when the body is gently active. Even small movements, standing, walking slowly, stretching, help blood circulate and support the digestive organs. These movements also help regulate blood sugar levels and allow the nervous system to shift into a calm, balanced state. But when a person eats dinner and then sits motionless for 2 or 3 hours, something very different happens. Digestion becomes slower, blood circulation becomes weaker, the body starts to feel heavy and sluggish. You may have felt this before without realizing why. After a large dinner followed by hours of sitting, the stomach feels bloated. The body feels stiff. Sometimes there's a strange restlessness that appears when you finally lie down to sleep. I remember watching an older neighbor who had the same routine every night. He would finish dinner and immediately sit in his chair watching television for the rest of the evening. 3 hours would pass without him standing up once. Over time, he began complaining about poor sleep, constant stiffness in his back and legs, and a heavy feeling in his body at night. He thought it was simply age catching up with him. But in reality, his body was spending hours every evening in complete stillness after eating. What many people don't realize is that the human body was built for movement, even gentle movement. When we remove that movement from our evenings, the body slowly begins to lose its natural rhythm. Digestion becomes less efficient. Blood sugar can fluctuate more dramatically. Muscles begin to stiffen after long periods of sitting. And when bedtime finally arrives, the body is not relaxed, it's uncomfortable. Sleep becomes lighter. The body shifts positions again and again during the night, trying to release that stiffness. But something as simple as a short evening walk can change everything. Just 10 minutes of slow, gentle walking after dinner can stimulate digestion, improve circulation, and calm the nervous system. The body begins to release tension. The mind becomes clearer. And by the time you lie down, your body feels naturally ready for rest. At 79 years old, I've learned that the evening hours quietly shape how the body feels the next day. Sometimes the difference between waking up refreshed and waking up exhausted comes down to a simple choice: remaining completely still or allowing the body a few minutes of gentle movement before the night begins. Small movements may seem insignificant, but over years, they can quietly transform the way your body sleeps, heals, and ages. 6. Drinking too much water before bed. Hydration is one of the most important things we can do for our health. Every doctor, every health expert, and every wellness guide reminds us to drink enough water during the day. Water supports digestion, helps the brain function properly, keeps the skin healthy, and allows every organ in the body to do its job. But like many things in life, timing matters. One of the quiet mistakes many people make after 8 p.m. is drinking large amounts of water right before going to bed. It usually happens without much thought. Maybe you suddenly feel thirsty. Maybe you want to make sure your body is hydrated for the night. Some people even believe drinking a full glass of water before sleep is a healthy habit. So they drink 1 glass, sometimes 2. Then they lie down, expecting to rest peacefully. But a few hours later, something happens. You wake up, your eyes slowly open in the dark room. The house is silent. Your body feels heavy with sleep, but there's an uncomfortable pressure in your bladder that cannot be ignored. So you get out of bed. You walk to the bathroom half awake, your body still craving rest. Then you return to bed and try to fall asleep again. But the sleep you interrupted was not ordinary sleep. It was often deep sleep, the most important stage of the night, the stage where your body performs its deepest repair. When that stage is broken, something subtle happens. Your brain has to restart the entire sleep cycle again. For many people, this means lying awake for several minutes, sometimes even longer, waiting for sleep to return. And if it happens once, it might happen again later in the night. One trip to the bathroom becomes two, sometimes three. I've experienced this myself. There were nights when I drank a large glass of water right before bed, thinking I was doing something good for my body. But those nights often turned into restless nights, waking up again and again, never reaching that deep, peaceful sleep the body truly needs. And as we grow older, this becomes even more noticeable. Our bladder becomes more sensitive. Our sleep becomes lighter. Even small interruptions can prevent the body from reaching the deep stages of rest that are essential for healing, memory, and energy restoration. When sleep becomes broken night after night, the effects slowly appear during the day. You may feel more tired, your concentration may weaken, your patience becomes thinner. Even your mood can begin to change. And often, the cause is something incredibly simple: too much water too late at night. At 79 years old, I've learned that the real secret is balance. Drink plenty of water during the day when your body is active and can use it effectively. Let your cells stay hydrated while your organs are fully awake and functioning. But as evening approaches, slowly reduce how much you drink. Give your body the chance to settle into the night without interruption. Because deep sleep is one of the most powerful forms of healing the body has. And sometimes protecting that sleep simply means allowing the night to pass quietly, without forcing your body to wake again and again when it should be resting peacefully. 7. Sleeping immediately after dinner. For many people, the evening routine is simple and familiar. Dinner is finished, the body feels full, and a wave of tiredness slowly arrives. The couch looks inviting. The bed feels even better. So within minutes of eating, many people lie down, thinking they are giving their body the rest it deserves. But this small habit, repeated night after night, can quietly create serious problems inside the body. When you eat a meal, your stomach begins an important process. It releases acids and digestive enzymes that break down the food you have eaten. Your intestines start moving that food slowly through the digestive system, absorbing nutrients and preparing the body for recovery during sleep. This entire process works best when your body remains upright. Gravity helps keep the food moving downward through the digestive tract, allowing digestion to happen smoothly. But when a person lies down immediately after eating, that natural process is disrupted. Instead of moving downward, the food and stomach acid can begin pushing upward. This is when acid reflux begins. Many people have felt this uncomfortable burning sensation in the chest or throat after lying down too soon after dinner. At first, it may seem like a small irritation, a little burning, a little discomfort. But over time, when this habit continues night after night, the problem can become much more serious. The stomach acid that moves upward can irritate the esophagus, the delicate tube that carries food from the mouth to the stomach. Unlike the stomach, the esophagus is not designed to handle strong acid. Slowly, irritation builds. Sleep becomes disturbed because the body feels uncomfortable. Some people wake up with a bitter taste in their mouth or a burning feeling in their chest during the night. Others begin experiencing chronic heartburn that follows them through the day. I remember a man I knew who had a habit of eating a heavy dinner around 9 p.m. and going straight to bed shortly afterward. At first, he only noticed occasional discomfort, but over the years, it became something much worse. His nights were constantly interrupted by burning pain in his chest, and he struggled to sleep peacefully. The habit that once seemed harmless had slowly turned into a nightly battle for his body. What many people don't realize is that the body needs time after eating. Digestion is not instant. It requires patience and movement. Most experts recommend allowing at least 2 to 3 hours between dinner and sleep so the stomach can properly process the food. Those hours don't have to be busy or stressful. In fact, they should be calm. A gentle walk after dinner, a quiet conversation with family, reading a book, listening to soft music, These simple activities allow the body to remain upright and relaxed while digestion finishes naturally. At 79 years old, I've learned that the evening hours quietly prepare the body for the night ahead. When we rush from the dinner table straight to the bed, we interrupt one of the most important processes the body performs. But when we give our body a little time, a little movement, a little patience, something remarkable happens. Digestion becomes smoother, the stomach feels lighter, and when you finally lie down, your body is truly ready for the deep, peaceful sleep it has been waiting for. 8. Ignoring the body's need for rest. The final mistake is one that modern life almost encourages. Staying up too late, watching one more episode, scrolling endlessly through your phone, telling yourself, "I'll sleep in a few minutes." Almost everyone has done this at some point. You look at the clock and realize it's already late, but you convince yourself that a little more time won't hurt. Just 10 more minutes, just one more video, just one more message to check. But those 10 minutes quietly turn into an hour, and before you realize it, midnight has passed, sometimes even later. What many people don't understand is that the human body runs on a very delicate internal rhythm deep inside your brain. There is a biological clock that controls when you feel awake and when your body prepares for sleep. This clock has evolved over thousands of years, guided by the natural cycle of sunlight during the day and darkness at night. When the sun sets and darkness begins, your body slowly prepares for rest. Hormones change. Your body temperature drops slightly. Your brain begins releasing melatonin to guide you gently into sleep. But when you constantly ignore those signals, pushing yourself to stay awake longer and longer, something begins to happen to that internal clock. It becomes confused. Your sleep schedule starts shifting later and later. Some nights you sleep early, other nights very late. The body never knows exactly when rest will come. And when sleep becomes irregular, the consequences slowly begin to appear. You may wake up feeling strangely tired even after many hours in bed. Your energy during the day begins to drop. Your mind feels foggy. Small tasks require more effort than they used to. Even more concerning, the immune system, the system responsible for protecting your body from illness, becomes weaker when sleep is constantly disrupted. I remember years ago when I developed a habit of staying up late watching television. At first, it seemed harmless. The quiet nighttime hours felt peaceful, and I enjoyed those extra moments of entertainment. But after some time, I began noticing something strange. I woke up tired almost every morning. My patience became shorter. My body felt slower and heavier throughout the day. It took me a long time to realize that the real problem wasn't my age. It was the simple fact that I was ignoring my body's need for rest. At 79 years old, I've learned something that younger people often underestimate. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is not wasted time. Sleep is one of the most powerful healing processes the body has. While you sleep, your brain clears away toxins that build up during the day. Your muscles repair themselves. Your immune system strengthens. Your memory organizes everything you learned and experienced. In many ways, sleep is the quiet workshop where your body rebuilds itself for the next day. But that repair process can only happen when you respect your body's natural rhythm, when you listen to the signals of tiredness, when you allow yourself to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion. You give your body something incredibly valuable: time to heal, time to recover, time to prepare for another day of life. And sometimes, the most powerful health decision you can make after 8 p.m. is simply this: turn off the screen, close your eyes, and allow your body the deep rest it has been asking for all along. As I conclude, at 79 years old, I've learned something that took decades to understand. Health is rarely destroyed by one big mistake. It's usually damaged by small habits repeated every single day, especially the ones we do at night. So if you truly care about your future, start protecting your evenings. Remove these 8 habits. Give your body the rest it deserves. And you may discover that better sleep, better energy, and better health were waiting for you all along. And if this video helped you in any way, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes, a small piece of knowledge shared at the right moment can quietly change someone's entire life.